Roll call vote. Roll call, excuse me. Kathleen DeWolf,
Present.
Alan Silly,
Present.
Andy Fitch,
Present.
Fran Newton.
Present.
Eli Badger's present. Approval of minutes from 1/6/2021.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Do I hear any discussion? There being no discussion. Roll call vote. Kathleen DeWolf,
Aye.
Alan Silly,
Aye.
Andy Fitch,
Aye.
Fran Newton,
Aye.
Eli Badger, aye. Okay. Just move this up. New business is the 2021 virtual town meeting. Charlie, where do we stand? What's the latest
Well,
update?
the school, let's start with the school, I guess. The school, as Fran stated at our last meeting, said that we were okay to use the gym. They sent out some guidelines that, from my interpretation, are quite similar to what happened at the November election. So we're okay there. I caught wind this morning that the amendment to SB 2 passed in the Senate, but it failed in the House.
Okay,
So I don't know where that was the amendment to delay it. So that option appears to be off the table.
I don't think we should plan on that option then.
No.
I think there's a consensus for that.
Yeah. So
Yes, Kathleen.
We'll proceed as we have for past meetings, and Craig has some information to share with us about setting up the gym that might make rest of the members feel more comfortable.
Did you want me to share that with you?
No, we want you to keep it a secret.
Well, anyway, I had spread the word out a little bit, just in case this came to about. I had plans to share with everybody that would swap the gym around from vertically to horizontally. So in other
Okay.
words, we'd use the length of the gym to set the selectmen up and the budget committee on the length of it. That way there I can spread the front tables out the whole length of the gym instead of the width of the gym. Which would leave, I could, 4 or 5 feet in between each 8-foot table. And then the chairs also would be spread out in the gym, 6 feet each. At least, if not more, and I'd be able to get a lot of people in there that way, instead of just shrinking everybody up towards the stage like we normally do, just to make a little more social distance. So just as an option, that's something we could do to spread things out.
Okay, that sounds good.
If
Yeah.
everybody understands that.
I thought that sounded like a very good idea. It was one that I never even entertained myself, but it makes sense, and it could be something that we do going forward in the future also.
Could we just, for the record, go over the guidelines that the school has issued for use of the gym in terms of safety?
You're up
Charlie
again,
said-
Charlie.
Sorry. I was pulling up their email. Marilyn reached out to me on Wednesday and said they would like to see efforts cleaning and sanitizing the gymnasium that was shown after the November primary elections. But I think Tim Paquette stopped in the office today and talked about setup, and maybe you can elaborate a little bit more, Craig, was that they're going to use the locker room for residents that or voters that don't want to wear a mask.
That's right. We opened up the side walkway of the gym for him today, and so that walkway is now open. So if somebody didn't want to wear a mask, they will quarantine them up in the locker rooms, and they'll be able to be at the meeting. They'll be able to hear it. Maybe they're gonna put a speaker up there. I don't know that plan as far as IS&T goes, but they're gonna, if somebody didn't want to wear a mask, it's gonna be in the locker rooms way upstairs. And we opened up the walkway today for them.
Okay, the town, I think everybody's received it was sent to you, Charlie, from Maryland this morning. That
The minutes, I think I started in their minutes.
the use was for the gymnasium only.
Mhm,
The town must require face masks and social distancing.
mhm.
The town may use the designated locker room space in the gymnasium if needed to provide access for individuals with indicated exemptions to mask wearing. They would have to use the back entrance, and the collaborative process between the town and school to thoroughly clean the gymnasium after use.
Mhm.
This has worked well in the past, is what she said.
Yes. Yep.
The
Um,
idea, if we put somebody in the locker room, we are going to have to provide a way for them to see what is happening on the main floor and to be able to participate through perhaps having a microphone in there so that they can be seen. And well, actually, we'd have to be able to see them too.
Or at least hear. We don't need to see them. We need to hear them.
Well, we have to know when somebody was standing up. It might be nice to be able to know who was speaking.
And that's where the assistant town moderator would come into play, I believe.
That's what it said in the email.
Mhm.
Okay,
So I believe that's Mrs. Coleman.
No, I thought Bobby reappointed someone else,
If he did, I'm not aware of anybody being reappointed.
and she worked the elections.
Does anybody else on the board know of?
I had the impression from the school board meeting that it was still Sandra Coleman, but I could be mistaken.
I'll find out.
I know that Mrs. Coleman was in contact with the moderator on, about this whole issue. So it was my assumption that she was still assistant moderator.
yes, the moderator called me yesterday and asked me to let her know what our decision was. So after we finish here, I'll let her know what our decision is, if that's okay with the rest of the board.
And I'm just gonna play devil's advocate here. Are we required to provide an alternate? I mean, I know we didn't vote when, for the polls, we had to provide an alternate way for people to cast their ballot. Has anything come from the state that we have to do it for our town meeting also?
My understanding from the language I read was that we do have to accommodate those people.
Okay.
So the ballots would have, but isn't that for voting
No, it was for the meeting.
for the meeting,
The language
or the
indicated-
deliberative session?
for the deliberative session. The language, as I recall, said if people are unable, unwilling to wear masks, they should be, you know,
Oh, I thought that was from the SAU. I didn't know that.
no, that, I'll double check it, but I'm pretty sure we have to account.
If we have them in a place where they can, in the gym area behind in the locker room, if we have them there, it would be just like an overflow from some of the other meetings like we had at,
Oh, I'm thinking of the Northern Pass.
yes,
Here, I found the language. It said, for those towns who do hold in-person deliberative or business sessions, NHMA interprets EO number 74 to apply to those meetings, and persons attending those meetings who cannot consistently maintain physical distance of at least 6 feet from persons outside their household must wear a mask or cloth face covering over their noses and mouths. And there was somewhere where it said that we could put them in a separate place. I'll have to find that.
and provide them, we would be providing them with a way to see what's going on, see and hear what's going on, and allow them to have a microphone in there to ask questions.
Well, they would still have to go through the supervisors of the checklist to get their
Purple cards.
purple cards, yes, in order to participate.
That's correct.
So how would they do that? They would still,
Again, I think
Yeah.
we have to, what the school board discussed is that they need to have somebody physically in that room to assist, babysit, for want of a better term, to ensure that their needs are met. And I would assume that that person assisting those individuals would relay votes.
no, I'm just saying they have to still go through the supervisors of the checklist who are usually set up in the gym proper.
Indeed, they do. And I'm not sure how we accomplish that, but I'm sure the school board is facing the same issue.
I mean, the microphone we had last year was wireless, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Will there be also live streaming of this meeting? Again, there's a
Should
number
be,
of
yeah.
people who will not attend at all,
Mhm.
and they need to be able to see this. Again, this is assuming we vote to have it in person.
It was live streamed last year.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody have any, at this,
But with that being said, Eli, I don't know about live stream with Zoom because we don't have the setup like we do here. I mean, we're going to try a test run next Wednesday at the Budget Committee's public hearing. And honestly, it looks like we're going to use my little computer for because I have the Zoom account. You know, we
People,
don't
it doesn't have to be Zoom as long as it's live streamed, because
Oh,
if
I
we have
just-
an in-person meeting, they can't vote anyway. It's
Right.
just to allow them to witness what's going on.
Yeah, I was just trying to clarify for everyone
Yep.
though, Fran. So just in case some folks out there might have thought
Yeah.
that we were gonna do Zoom, we're not gonna be able to.
I would feel, since we talked about Zoom in this case, not knowing what the Wi-Fi signal strength in that gym is, we would have to be hardwired to their router. And I'm not sure
Hmm.
that that's feasible.
Yeah, we're gonna give it a go on Wednesday, Eli, with the public hearing for the Budget Committee.
Okay,
I was talking to Andrew today about setting up the IT with the school.
with Lester Brent.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
That might be, well, there's a good test run.
Yep, yeah.
Just,
If we had the cameras, then we probably could do it because we could just bring a TV. But for the folks that haven't been here yet at the water. And so we have two big cameras that you
Yeah.
really need.
Now, with what we know now, ladies and gentlemen, how are we leaning towards in-person versus virtual?
I believe we still need to go in person. I think virtual is going to be a tough task for us to accomplish.
I agree with Andy. I think there's just too many obstacles that in the amount of time we have, and we can't afford to have that meeting be a test run. That we'll have to go with the traditional way we've been doing it. And hopefully that we can accommodate the people who choose not to wear a mask. And the bottom line is we're going to do the best that we can with the technology we have at hand and try to accommodate everybody and fulfill the statutory duty of the deliberative set that we have to fulfill with the deliberative session.
Alan?
In person.
Fran?
I still have great discomfort. If it's in person, I will attend very reluctantly, but I still have grave concerns given that 4,000 people died yesterday. I think we can make it safe. I hope we can get the plexiglass that we used for the election as well. Everything that we can do to keep people isolated. I guess if I had to vote, I'll still vote for virtual.
Well, we have three people. Three people are. Yes, I have an issue. I am probably the. I would have, with what we have now, with the information we have now, and I will go along with having it in person. I just want to make sure that we're as protected as possible. I think that in addition to the masks that we all have, we should have the plastic shields.
I bought a face shield for the election that I ended up not needing. I would recommend that people look into those. I don't think you can take too many precautions. You can get them on Amazon for relatively little money. I don't remember what they were, 2 for something.
I am suggesting very strongly that the town purchases them for all of the people that have to be at that have to be there.
I think that's a great idea.
I'll agree with that idea too.
Sorry, I'm sitting here mumbling, sorry.
So Charlie, you told me earlier today that we actually only needed 3 members there. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what Patsy told me for a quorum.
Okay. So we can take that into account too. If anybody is sick or really should not be there, we can use that to our advantage.
I semi appreciate that, but if the board has decided or will decide shortly that we're going to hold this in public, as chair, I feel that I have to be there.
As I was muted mumbling there for a second, I made note to get some, I'll look into purchasing mask. I'll look into the plexiglass that was used at the election. If, if there's anything else you can think of to help make this safe, let me know and we'll go ahead and we'll purchase it. Craig, did you want to provide a few more comments about setup? Because DPW guys set this up, that, you know, maybe you can provide a few more comments to ease people's concerns.
Yeah, yeah. We certainly can put up the plexiglass that we have from the state. I'm gonna say that, and we can put them right on the selectmen's and budget committee table. I think we have enough to do all that. They're quite big. We can separate each individual person. I think the supplies we got for voting included shields. And we have all that stuff. We kept it. They're all up at the gym. There's gotta be 300 or 400 of them, I bet, up there in storage, the face mask ones. So we can go through the inventory if somebody wanted to at some point and see what we actually have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can put the shields up for the members on the board and in the budget committee.
Mm-hmm.
That's easy, no problems there, and I'll make sure there's plenty of space between the front tables that you guys are gonna occupy in the public. We're gonna have the ventilation fans on, the heat will be on, so we can change the air in there. I think we can do it safely, better than what you'd see at a Walmart or Hannaford.
What about the use of the school's HEPA filters? Is that something you can find out about?
Well, I could ask Tim about that, sure. I think they bought some portable units. Yep, I can do that. What else are we doing to keep it safe? I think we have a lot of sanitizer left over. I think it's a good idea to post somebody at each door to give a squirt of hand sanitizer when the public comes in. It's all good things we can do to keep people socially distanced and clean, so to speak. I think the bathrooms are gonna remain closed. I think we got it pretty good. If there's anything else you guys can think of.
The only thing I can think of is signage.
We
Not
only,
sure what's going to be on it, but
yeah, the only
no,
signage we have, we saved, was the voting signage. So yeah, we'd have to come up with something if you have, and get Jay to print it probably.
I just need to make one comment based on something you just said, Craig. I understand that this is going to be safer than Walmart or Hannaford. The difference is that when we go to Walmart or Hannaford, we're there briefly. These sessions tend to go to 2 or 3 hours. And as you know, it's viral load that causes the problem. It's prolonged exposure to somebody who is positive. And again, I know we're bending over backwards to be safe, and I will attend. And I feel like I can keep myself safe, but it just has to do with the amount of time that we're all together in one room.
Yep.
I just needed to make that comment.
Nope, you're absolutely right. Yep.
I don't like being in a large crowd and under any circumstances. So
Yeah. Craig, why don't you, if you can, bring up the shield so I can take a look at them, just so I, you know, make sure I don't order the same ones, or maybe.
I mean, if we have 400 shields there, Charlie,
But I think Fran was talking about the ones that kind of go around your head that you see the doctors wear.
That
well,
is
there's
what I'm
the ones that
talking
go
about.
around the head and the ones that go around the neck and pop
Yeah.
up this way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
either way.
The state gave us some, we have a stack of those. The
Oh,
state,
okay. Because see, I haven't seen them. So
I don't think anybody did because we didn't get them out, but I mean, they're for the workers to use if they chose to during the voting.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody knew they were there.
No,
So I can bring that over Monday, a couple samples of what they gave us, and you can look at them. There's some things we use at the fire station. When we go to medical calls that are shields, they get foam on the front, which I think is what you're talking about, Fran. And these are very similar to that. But you know, if we can have you guys stop by the town office and look at them, see if it's something that you like. I'll bring that over Monday morning. I'll grab it. And I'll talk to Tim Paquette Monday too, and I'll give you guys a report.
Okay. In this case, I will accept a motion to hold an in-person deliberative session.
I'll make that motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll
Okay.
second it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Kathleen DeWolf,
Aye.
Alan Silly,
Aye.
Andy Fitch,
Aye.
Fran Newton,
Nay.
Eli Badger says aye. Motion carries. We're having an in-person, and once again, if it's okay, I will call Bobby and let her know that we are having an in-person meeting.
Thank you for that.
Okay, moving on. Old business. Hearing none. Select board items.
I have a couple questions about petition warrant articles. I know they have to be on the warrant because we're SB2 town.
Are you talking about 27?
Craig shared some information. He's a spreadsheet that I can share with rest of the board. And the spreadsheet he provided, Parkway is listed as a class 5 road, not a class 6. And there's some questions about who owns the land
Yes.
that this paved area crosses. So this is information that Mr. Smith, I would like him to share with legal, because there's, in my opinion, the warrant article is presented does not have verified information on it. And the other one is,
Well, I sent that to council yesterday, Kathleen.
Yep.
And I said, is the length of the road important? We have not measured it. How would the town relinquish interest in the land under the road when we are not sure if we own it?
correct,
Road is not maintained by DPW. Does that make it a class 6 road? It does not appear to be one to me.
Yeah.
I
also have a planning board plan that I will bring into the office so Charlie could scan it from 2005, which refers to the area as Hill Street. And then Mr. Gooden provided a document from his engineers calling it Parkway. So there's even some question, what is the true name of this Viactic Way?
Yeah, because there's that map in the town office that has it listed as Hill, because Hill's that street that goes across where.
It ends at David Rule's house.
Yeah. And there's that little fire lane, but then it goes across the street and then it goes back
And it
to
picks
Hill.
back up, yes.
Yeah, it goes Parkway, then it goes to Hill again.
So that it's just, there's some ambiguity with the, with unverified information in the petition warrant article.
I think that you may find that from David Rule's house to Mill Street, that Hill Street designation,
Mhm.
it was a discontinued road
Okay,
because
this is what I'm using.
Yeah.
So which also must be in the town office.
Yeah.
Town of Ashland Assessors Map. Hill Avenue ends just below David Rules. The area where we have a business, please, I can't remember the name of the business, Mr. Badger.
When
becomes
it ends,
Private.
it ends at where mechanics, about halfway into
Mechanics.
when Mechanic and Hill meet,
Mhm.
just,
Then it becomes a private way till it
That's
gets
right.
to Mill Street
that's right,
and the junction of Mill. It is now picked up as
Parkway.
Parkway, or according to Holden, Hill. So we have two maps calling the same area, two
Different
different
thing.
names.
If, having driven by that for almost at least 45 years, that, as far as I know, that section has always been called Parkway.
And that could be for 911 purposes also.
Yeah,
The point I'm making is that I do make the rest of the board aware that we do have a petition warrant article. It must be on the warrant, but I have issues with the language contained within that warrant, which what might be confusing to the public.
Alan has maybe a better memory of the area than I do. Do you have anything to add to this?
I don't really. I mean, it was a street at one time, obviously. It was never voted to discontinue it. What is the status? I guess anybody's best guess.
Well, Kathleen, I just took some notes. I'll follow up with legal with those questions, you know, if it makes a difference. I suspect if they are, that it needs to be changed to a class 5, and
It could just become advisory, and we'd have to work backwards. I think that was our determination when this was presented to us. This was kind of putting the cart before the horse. All this information should have been provided, vetted on, and then presented as a warrant article.
We don't even have to check the deeds that Mr. Glidden handed out for pieces of property for the parking in that area. That's a civil issue.
But since the warrant states that the town owns, I don't have it right in front of me. It's mentioned that for the town to relinquish what they own. Do we have any documentation that even identifies that as town-owned property? And I personally, I'm not of the mind to give away something that the town owns without presenting the public with all the information possible so an informed decision can be made. This is just my personal opinion. I just thought I would share it with the rest of the board.
And I think that at the deliberative session, it's one of the items that we would be able to talk about.
But right now, we do not have much to work from.
And we can make that statement then, I believe.
yeah, it might be, you might have to amend the article at the deliberative.
We can't. We can't amend it.
At the
No,
deliberative?
You can amend the language. You
The
can't.
amend the
language,
language at
as
the
long as
deliberative.
it doesn't change the meaning, the intent of.
Yeah. Well, I'm
But you
saying
might
like,
be able to add a sentence that said this is advisory only or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
or like, well, you know, to clarify, it's actually Hill Street, not Parkway Road. It's actually a class 5 road, not a class 6. As opposed to-
Six.
Uh,
And
we still haven't, no one has made the actual determination
who owns it?
what the name of that area is at this time. That's my understanding. If I'm wrong, please
No.
correct.
No, that's what it is. That's why I brought it up, just to let rest of the board knows this is, ambiguous.
We voted not to recommend
Yes,
this article.
so Charlie will send it to legal and, we'll see how they want us to, address this. I believe we just had another warrant article, petition warrant article presented. I'm confused by the language in that also. According to the lease between the town of Ashland and the Ashland Historical Society, item 6, the tenant shall, at its own expense, make all necessary repairs and replacements to the premises and to the pipes, heating system, plumbing system, window, glass, wiring, fixtures, and all other appliances and appurtenances belonging there and thereto. So this appears that this is this. How a lease has been, this is the language of the lease. The Historical Society is responsible for the repair and maintenance of the Whipple House.
Again,
they're
for the
asking-
record, can you read the warrant article, Kathleen? So
It's the very,
I'll read the article for you.
okay, because
To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $2,000 to be deposited into the account of the Ashland Historical Society for the purpose of maintenance and repairs to the Whipple House owned by the town of Ashland.
thank you.
so according to the lease, they have taken responsibility of that action, and now they're asking the town to pay, to contribute. That's something else that legal might have to give some input into. US Andy and Alan need to be provided with a copy of that lease. Charlie. Eli, do you?
Somewhere I have a copy of the lease, but if he's sending it out to one, he can send it out to all. Mr. Rule,
And we were not, at the year-end report, the November report, we did not receive any indication that there were issues with the Whipple House that needed to, that they couldn't, through the use of the lease money, take care of. And that's also part of the lease language.
Mr. Rule, is there anything you want to say since you turned your picture on?
Actually, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I turned the audio on for the Parkway question because Hill Street used to run through the Bill property, over Parkway and up Short Street, all the way to Winona Road. But after a portion of it was discontinued, they thought that would be confusing. So they named Parkway and Short Street, those two sections of Hill Street, because they were no longer connected to the rest of Hill Street.
That's
So I
right.
think Rosie did that.
Yes,
after the discontinuance of a section in the middle.
yep,
As to the Historical Society's position, what we're looking at it right at the moment is having to reshingle a large portion of the Whipple House roof, and we're getting estimates in the $10,000 to $12,000 range, which we don't have. So we're looking at a grant possibility with the DAR and other ways of raising money, but we were thinking maybe the town could contribute, see if the town's voters would like to do that.
Well, according to the lease language, the town can pay for it, but and expect the Historical Society. Okay,
Yeah, I'm aware of the lease language. It does
Yeah.
say we do all repairs, but the question is whether we can or with what we have at the moment.
well, I wish you had brought this in front of the board before and had a discussion in November when the report was requested as per lease language, and we could have had a dialogue on how we could have moved forward together on this instead of a petition warrant article that did not provide any interaction between the Historical Society and the Board of Selectmen, who have oversight of that building because it's town property.
Okay.
You know, dialogue is very important. I did not realize there was issues at the Historical Society, other than there was some, a general, we need roof repair.
Mhm. Well, we're still seeking estimates and other ways of funding it, but so.
Thank you, David.
Okay.
anything else? An under selectmen item? Hearing none. We have a non-public session listed. RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, small letter A.
I'll make a motion that we go into non-public according to RSA 91A, Roman numeral 2, small letter A.
I'll second.
Okay, I am going to ask at this time that both Davids depart.
I take a roll call for the vote.
No, we still have somebody.
Well, we still have somebody here. Roll call vote. Kathleen DeWolf,
Aye.
Alan Silly,
Aye.
Andy Fitch,
Aye.
Fran Newton,
Aye.
Eli Badger says aye. We are now out of non-public. I am recording again. We discussed personnel matters during our non-public session. I will accept a motion to adjourn.
That's my job.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, Andy, you get to do it for a change. I'll second it.
There you go.
Roll call, Kathleen DeWolf,
Aye.
Alan Silly,
Aye.
Andy Fitch.
Aye.
Fran Newton,
Aye.
Eli Badger says aye.